The evening settles softly over the hill, gentle and unhurried, like a quiet hand resting upon the earth. The sky is no longer bright with the full light of day, yet it is not dark. It glows with warm colors at the edges, gold fading into rose, rose fading into lavender, and lavender slowly becoming a deep and peaceful blue. Far across the fields, the grass moves in slow waves beneath the evening breeze. The air is cool, tender and clean, carrying the faint scent of earth, wildflowers, and distant rain. Nothing here is rushed, nothing here is loud. The world seems to be breathing more slowly now, as though it too has heard the gentle call to rest. A narrow path winds through the quiet pasture, curving between low hills and soft green places where the sheep have grazed through the day. The path is simple, worn by many slow steps, and lined with small stones warmed by the sun. A few birds pass overhead, flying toward the trees where they will sleep. Their wings move silently against the evening sky. Somewhere nearby, a stream murmurs softly, though it cannot yet be seen. Its sound is calm and steady, like a whisper meant only for tired hearts. On this peaceful path walks a weary traveler. He is not a person of great importance in the eyes of the world. He is simply someone who has carried the weight of an ordinary day. He has worked, thought, listened, answered, waited, and tried. He has done what he could, and now the day is nearly finished. His shoulders are tired. His thoughts are slower than they were in the morning. There are small concerns still following him, little worries about tomorrow, unfinished tasks, words he wishes he had spoken more gently, things he hopes will be all right. But as he walks through the pasture at dusk, something in him begins to soften. For in this quiet place, he remembers the ancient words, "The Lord is his shepherd." Not a distant ruler, not a cold observer, not a voice of fear, but a shepherd, a patient guide, a keeper of the weary, one who knows the path when the sheep do not, one who sees the hidden places, the steep ground, the tender grass, the safe way home. The traveler does not need to understand everything tonight. He does not need to solve every question before the stars appear. He is allowed to be led. The breeze moves gently across the field, and with it comes the feeling of a voice. Not loud, not sudden, but quiet and near. It is the kind of voice the heart hears when it finally stops running. A voice without pressure, a voice without hurry, a voice that says, "Come, rest now. You have walked far enough for today. I am here." The traveler pauses beside a low stone wall and looks over the pasture. The sheep are gathering slowly in the distance. Some still nibble at the grass, some are already lying down. A few lambs remain close to their mothers, their small bodies tucked safely in their warmth. The shepherd stands nearby, watching with calm attention. He does not seem anxious. He does not rush the flock. He knows each one. He notices the smallest lamb and the oldest sheep. He sees the tired ones, the wandering ones, the ones who need more time. His care is steady, quiet, and complete. The traveler watches this scene, and his own heart begins to understand. Perhaps this is what it means to be cared for by God. Not to be pushed harshly toward but gently invited. Not to be forgotten when one is tired, but seen with compassion. Not to be expected to carry the whole road alone, but guided, step by step, by the one who knows both the pasture and the night. The sun lowers further, and the field becomes softer in color. The green grass darkens slightly, touched by shadow, but still beautiful. The small wildflowers near the path close their petals for the night. The air becomes cooler, and the first star appears above the far hill. The traveler draws his cloak around his shoulders and takes a slow breath. For the first time all day, he does not feel the need to hurry. He thinks of the many ways he has tried to be strong. He has tried to hold every detail in his mind, tried to be ready for everything, tried to plan every step ahead. But sheep do not need to know the whole map. They need to know the shepherd's voice. And tonight, beneath the quiet sky, the traveler realizes that his soul has been longing not for more answers, but for a gentler trust. The shepherd knows the way. The shepherd knows the night. The shepherd knows the needs of the heart before they are spoken. A soft stillness gathers around him. He does not hear many words now, only the peaceful assurance that he is not alone. God's presence is near in the wind moving through the grass, near in the fading light, near in the quiet path, near in the steady care shown to every sheep in the pasture. It is not a dramatic peace. It is not a loud peace. It is the kind of peace that settles slowly like dusk upon the hills. The traveler begins walking again. but more slowly than before. Each step feels easier. The ground beneath him is firm. The path is clear enough for this moment. He does not need to see all the way to tomorrow. The shepherd sees. That is enough. As he follows the path, he lets the burdens of the day become lighter. He releases the worry he has carried about what he cannot change. He releases the small regret that has been pressing on his heart. He releases the need to be perfect before resting. He remembers that a shepherd does not care for the flock because the sheep are flawless. He cares for them because they belong to him. And so the traveler whispers, almost without sound, "Lord, lead me tonight." The words are simple. They do not need to be more. The evening seems to receive them. The grass moves softly. The stream continues its quiet song beyond the bend. The sheep settle deeper into the pasture. The sky becomes darker, but not frightening. It is a gentle darkness, a resting darkness, the kind that prepares the world for sleep. The shepherd's voice remains near, not as noise, but as comfort. Come, rest now. I am with you. You are known. You are cared for. You do not have to wander through the night alone. The traveler breathes in slowly, then he breathes out. His heart becomes quieter. The day is ending. The path is peaceful. The shepherd is near, and under the soft light of evening, the weary soul begins to rest. The path through the pasture bends gently around the side of the hill, and the weary traveler follows it without hurry. The evening has grown softer now, and the last light of the sun lies low across the grass like a golden blanket. Every blade seems touched by quiet. The hills roll gently into the distance, not sharp or harsh, but smooth and kind, as though the land itself has been shaped for rest. The traveler hears the sheep moving slowly nearby, the soft sound of their steps in the grass, the faint rustle of wool brushing against wildflowers, the peaceful breathing of creatures that know they are watched over. Above him, the sky deepens into blue, and the first few stars appear one by one, patient and calm. The traveler does not speak. He only walks, but inside him something begins to loosen. All day, his heart has been like a clenched hand, holding small worries, little disappointments, unfinished thoughts, and quiet responsibilities. None of them seemed heavy on their own, yet together they had become a burden. A word he wished he had answered more gently, a task left for tomorrow, a need he could not meet, a question that had no answer yet. But here, in the pasture, with the shepherd near and the evening settling gently over the hills, those burdens no longer seem to demand his full attention. They are still there, perhaps, but they are not ruling the moment. The grass beneath his feet is real, the cool air is real, the shepherd's presence is real, and for tonight, that is enough. Ahead, the pasture opens wide. It is greener than the traveler expected, rich with tender grass and small flowers that glow faintly in the fading light. The sheep have come here to rest. Some are lying down already, their bodies tucked into the soft earth. Others stand close together in the calm, no longer wandering or searching. The traveler notices how peaceful they are. They do not seem to worry about whether the pasture will remain green tomorrow. They do not ask whether the shepherd has remembered the way home. They receive what has been given for this hour. They eat, they rest, they listen for the voice they trust. The traveler stops at the edge of the green place and looks around. The grass is thick and soft, moving slightly in the breeze. A few pale flowers bend near his feet. The scent of earth rises gently from the ground, mixed with the sweetness of clover and the cool freshness that comes when evening begins to settle. The shepherd stands not far away, calm and watchful. There is no hurry in him, no impatience, no disappointment that the traveler is tired. The shepherd knows that sheep grow weary. He knows that travelers need places to stop. He knows that hearts cannot keep walking forever without rest. And so the traveler hears again, deep within his soul, the quiet invitation, lie down, rest here. You do not need to keep moving tonight. At first, the traveler finds it difficult, not because the pasture is unsafe, but because he has grown used to carrying himself forward. He has forgotten how to stop without feeling guilty. He has forgotten how to receive rest as a gift rather than a reward. A part of him still thinks there must be something else to do, one more thought to solve, one more concern to arrange, one more fear to examine before he is allowed to be still. But the shepherd does not ask for more work. The shepherd does not place another burden in his hands. The shepherd simply leads him to the green pasture, where the ground is soft and the night is kind. Slowly, the traveler lowers himself onto the grass. The earth is cool beneath him, but not cold. It supports him without asking anything in return. He stretches out one tired hand and lets his fingers rest among the blades of grass. They are small, living things, simple and quiet, growing because God has given them light, rain, soil, and time. The traveler breathes in, and the scent of the pasture fills him. He breathes out, and a little more of the day leaves him. The wind moves across the field, gentle as a lullaby. Nearby, a lamb sighs in its sleep. The traveler closes his eyes for a moment. In the darkness behind his eyelids, he imagines all the thoughts of the day as stones he has been carrying in a small bag. One by one, he sets them down in the grass. The worry about tomorrow, the regret from earlier, the need to understand everything, the pressure to be strong in every moment, the fear that rest means weakness. He places each one down, not carelessly, but with trust. The shepherd sees them. The shepherd knows what to do with what the traveler cannot carry tonight. The green pasture does not make a speech. It does not explain peace. It simply offers it. Soft ground, open sky, gentle wind, a safe place under the shepherd's care. Sometimes the soul does not need many words to heal. Sometimes it needs a place to stop, a place where nothing is demanded for a while, a place where the heart can remember that it is not a machine, not a servant of endless tasks, not a lonely wanderer, but a beloved sheep under the care of the Lord. The traveler opens his eyes and watches the sky. A bird crosses high above, then disappears into the trees. The colors of the sunset are almost gone now, but the horizon still holds a faint line of warmth. The hills are quiet. The sheep are still. The shepherd remains near. His presence does not push into the traveler's thoughts. It simply surrounds them, gently and steadily, like the pasture itself. The traveler begins to understand that rest is not the absence of God's work. Rest is one of God's works. The Lord is caring for him through stillness, through grass, through silence, through the permission to stop. He thinks of the words, "I shall not want," and lets them settle slowly. They do not mean that every desire has already been fulfilled in the way he expected. They do not mean he has never felt need, never felt tired, never wondered how tomorrow would unfold. They mean that beneath every changing circumstance, the shepherd himself is enough. The shepherd's care is enough for this moment. His wisdom is enough for the unseen road. His mercy is enough for the mistakes of the day. His presence is enough for the night. The traveler breathes slowly. In the distance, the stream continues its quiet song. Hidden beyond the bend, the sound seems to move through the pasture like a promise. Still waters are near. But before reaching them, the shepherd has brought him here first, to grass, to rest, to the simple gift of lying down. The traveler realizes that sometimes God restores a tired soul not by giving it more to think about, but by giving it permission to be still. The soul, like the body, needs a place to lie down. It needs a pasture where striving can soften. It needs a shepherd who does not shame it for being weary. A small lamb rises near its mother, takes a few unsteady steps, then settles down again. The traveler watches with a faint smile. The lamb does not apologize for needing closeness. It does not hide its smallness. It simply stays near the one who gives warmth. The traveler feels that lesson gently. He does not need to pretend before God. He does not need to arrive at rest with perfect faith, perfect thoughts, perfect strength, or perfect understanding. He can come as he is, tired, quiet, needing care. willing to be led. The shepherd does not turn him away. The wind cools slightly, and the traveler draws his cloak around him. The grass beneath him remains soft. The sky above him grows deeper. More stars appear now, not all at once, but slowly, as though heaven is lighting small lamps for the night. Each star seems to say the same peaceful thing: you are not forgotten. The traveler lets that truth sink in. He is not forgotten in the pasture. He is not forgotten in his tiredness. He is not forgotten when he cannot see the whole path. The shepherd knows where he is. A quiet gratitude rises in him. Not loud gratitude, not the kind that needs many words, a softer gratitude, shaped by relief. Thank you for bringing me here. Thank you for this green place. Thank you for not hurrying me. Thank you for knowing I needed rest before I knew how to ask for it. He turns his head and sees the sheep lying peacefully across the pasture. There is something deeply comforting about their stillness. They are not restless now. They are not scattered. They are gathered. The shepherd has led them to a place where they can stop searching for the evening. Their needs for this hour have been met. Food is near. Safety is near. The shepherd is near. The traveler feels his own heart become more like the pasture, open, quiet, held. He remembers the day again, but differently now. The difficult parts do not seem as sharp. The unfinished tasks do not seem as loud. The small mistakes do not feel like chains he must drag into sleep. In the presence of the shepherd, the day becomes something that can be released. It was not perfect, but it was held. It was not without weariness, but it was not without mercy. It was not fully understood, but it was guided. The traveler does not need to rewrite the day before resting. He can place it into the shepherd's hands and let it be covered by grace. The pasture darkens slightly as night continues to fall, but the traveler does not feel afraid. The green grass is still beneath him, the shepherd is still near, the sky is wide above him, the air is peaceful. Somewhere beyond the hills, other paths may wind through unknown places, but this path has brought him to rest for now, and now is the only place he needs to be. He allows his breathing to become slower. In, like receiving peace. Out, like letting go. In, like being cared for. Out, like releasing the day. The rhythm is simple. It asks nothing complicated from him. His shoulders loosen. His hands rest open in the grass. His thoughts no longer run ahead into tomorrow. They drift gently, like clouds fading after sunset. The shepherd's voice is not heard as a sound, yet the traveler knows it in his heart. You may rest. You are safe here. I have led you to this place. I know what you need. I will remain. The words become like a blanket over his soul. He thinks of people far away, in their own little rooms, lying beneath quilts, sitting beside lamps, listening to rain, whispering prayers, longing for peace. He imagines the shepherd leading each tired heart to its own green pasture, a quiet bedroom, a soft pillow, a warm blanket, a moment of prayer, a breath that finally slows, a night where the heart remembers it is loved. Not every pasture looks like grass beneath hills. Sometimes a green pasture is simply the place where God helps a weary soul stop striving and receive rest. The traveler lets his eyes grow heavy. He does not sleep yet, but he comes close to the edge of it. The pasture holds him gently. The sheep are quiet. The stars are clear. The shepherd watches. Nothing more is needed. Nothing more must be earned. For this moment, the traveler receives the gift. Green pastures for a tired heart, soft earth for weary steps, a quiet sky for restless thoughts, a shepherd who knows when his beloved ones need to lie down. And as the night deepens over the peaceful hills, the traveler rests in the simple truth that the Lord has brought him here not because he has done enough, but because he is loved. The grass moves gently in the wind, the stream murmurs beyond the bend, the sheep sleep safely nearby, and the tired heart, at last, begins to feel still. The traveler rests for a long while in the green pasture, allowing the quiet grass and the evening air to calm the places inside him that had been tense without his noticing. The ground beneath him is steady and kind. The sheep nearby have settled into deep stillness, some lying close together, some breathing softly in the cool of the night. The sky above the hills has grown darker now, but not in a troubling way. It is a calm darkness, filled with stars that appear slowly, one after another, like gentle lamps being lit across the heavens. The shepherd remains near, watchful and patient, and because he is near, the traveler does not feel the need to hurry onward before his heart is ready. After some time, the traveler opens his eyes again. The pasture has become quiet enough that he can hear the stream more clearly than before. It is not far away. Its sound comes from beyond the bend in the path, hidden by a gentle slope and a few low trees. The water does not rush. It does not crash over stones or demand attention. It moves slowly, peacefully, with a soft murmuring sound that seems to speak rest into the night. The traveler listens, and the sound of the water begins to draw his thoughts into an even deeper calm. The shepherd rises and begins to walk, not quickly, but with the same unhurried certainty that has guided the whole evening. The traveler understands without being told it is time to follow, not because the rest of the pasture was unfinished, but because rest often leads the soul to another kind of peace. First, the shepherd gave him a place to lie down. Now, he is leading him beside quiet waters. The traveler stands slowly. His body feels lighter than it did when he first entered the pasture. The burdens of the day have not disappeared like magic, but they no longer sit heavily on his shoulders. They have been seen. They have been set down. They have been placed under the care of the shepherd. He draws his cloak around him and follows the path, his steps soft on the grass. The sheep move nearby, calm and gathered, trusting the same shepherd who leads them. The path curves gently downward, away from the open pasture and toward a line of trees. Their branches lean over the path like a peaceful arch, leaves whisper above, stirred by the lightest breeze. The ground is smooth here, touched by the silver glow of the rising moon. Small flowers grow along the edges of the path, their petals closed for the night. The traveler notices them without needing to name them. He is no longer trying to understand everything, he is simply receiving the quiet. As he walks, the sound of the water grows clearer. It becomes a steady companion, softer than music, but just as soothing. The traveler feels his breathing begin to match it, in and out, slow and easy, like water moving over smooth stones, like peace moving through a tired heart. He had not realized how noisy his thoughts had been until they began to grow quiet. All day, they had turned within him like wheels. What must be done? What might happen? What should have been different? What tomorrow might require? But now, beside the shepherd, those thoughts begin to lose their sharp edges. Soon the trees open, and the traveler sees the water. It is a narrow stream, clear and still in the moonlight, moving so gently that it almost seems at rest. Along its banks grow reeds, soft grasses, and small white flowers that lean toward the surface. The water reflects the sky, holding pieces of stars in its quiet depth. Here and there, the current slips around a smooth stone with a faint whisper. There is no danger in its sound, no urgency, no flood, only calm water, given by God for thirsty sheep and weary souls. The shepherd stops beside the stream. The sheep gather near the bank, drinking slowly. They do not push or fear. They lower their heads with trust, receiving what they need. The traveler watches them for a while. There is something beautiful about the simplicity of it. Thirst met by water, weariness met by rest, wandering met by guidance, need met by care. The traveler kneels beside the stream and places one hand near the water. It is cool against his fingers. He cups some in his palm and drinks. The water is clean and refreshing, and as it passes his lips, he feels as though more than his body is being comforted. His thoughts, too, seem to be washed gently, not erased, not forced away, but quieted. The worries that had felt dry and restless within him begin to soften. He sits by the bank and lets the sound of the stream fill the silence. He understands now why the shepherd has brought him here. Still waters do not only refresh the body, they teach the heart how to become still. They show the soul that peace does not need to be loud in order to be real. The stream is not trying to impress the hills, it is not trying to prove its strength, it simply flows where it has been given to flow, quietly carrying life through the pasture. The traveler thinks about his own heart. How often he has rushed inside, even when his body was sitting still. How often he has tried to answer tomorrow's questions before nightfall. How often he has carried conversations, concerns, regrets, and hopes all tangled together until his soul felt crowded. But the shepherd does not lead him beside troubled waters. He leads him beside still waters. He brings him to a place where thoughts can settle, where the heart can drink slowly, where silence does not feel empty but full of care. The moon rises higher, and its light rests gently on the stream. The traveler watches the reflection tremble slightly whenever the water moves. It reminds him that peace does not always mean everything is completely motionless. The stream still flows, the leaves still move, the sheep still breathe, the night still deepens, yet there is peace in all of it. Peace is not the stopping of life, peace is the presence of the shepherd within it. He closes his eyes and listens. The water whispers, the grass moves, a sheep drinks nearby, the shepherd's staff touches the ground with a quiet sound as he stands watch. The traveler breathes in slowly, then breathes out. He begins to imagine each breath as a small act of trust. Breathing in, he receives the shepherd's care. Breathing out, he releases what he cannot hold. Breathing in, he remembers he is guided. Breathing out, he lets the day become finished. There is no need to hurry. There is no need to fix everything tonight. There is no need to stay awake in order to be safe. The shepherd is awake. The shepherd is near. The shepherd knows the way through the night. The traveler opens his eyes again and looks at the water. He thinks of all the people who lie awake in quiet rooms, listening to the small sounds of night. Some may be thinking of tomorrow. Some may be remembering something from today. Some may feel tired but unable to rest. Some may not know how to quiet the heart after a long day. He wishes they could hear this stream. He wishes they could feel the cool water on their hands, see the stars reflected in its surface, and know that the Lord is gentle with weary souls. Then he understands. Perhaps they can. Not by being here in this pasture, but by receiving the same shepherd's peace wherever they are. A bedroom can become a quiet stream, a soft blanket can become a green pasture, a whispered prayer can become a place of still waters. When the soul turns toward God, even an ordinary room can be filled with the calm of His presence. The traveler lowers his head and whispers, "Lord, make my heart still." The prayer is simple, but it is honest. He does not ask for a life without movement. He does not ask for every road to be easy. He does not ask to understand all things before morning. He asks only for a heart that can rest beside the waters God provides, a heart that can listen, a heart that can receive, a heart that does not need to rush ahead of the shepherd. A soft breeze crosses the stream, and the stars in the water shimmer gently. The traveler watches the little lights tremble, then become clear again. It comforts him. Even when the surface is disturbed for a moment, the stream remains. Even when thoughts move across the mind, God's peace remains beneath them. The heart can become clear again. The soul can settle again. The shepherd can restore what has been restless. The sheep finish drinking and settle near the bank. A lamb curls beside its mother, resting its head against her side. The older sheep stand close together, calm beneath the night sky. The traveler feels a deep quietness moving through him now. It is not sleep yet, but it is the doorway to sleep, the place where the mind no longer needs to grasp, the place where the body begins to trust the bed beneath it. the place where prayer becomes less like speaking and more like resting in the presence of God. The stream continues beside him. Its gentle sound seems to carry away the last sharpness of the day. The traveler remembers again that he has a shepherd. He is not leading himself through the dark. He is not responsible for finding water by his own wisdom. He is not forgotten when he grows thirsty. The shepherd knows where still waters are hidden. The shepherd knows how to bring a soul there at the right time. He drinks once more, then sits quietly with open hands. The coolness of the water remains on his palms. He lets the night air touch his face. He lets the sound of the stream move through his thoughts. He lets the shepherd's nearness become enough. Slowly, the traveler feels gratitude rise again, soft and wordless at first. Thank you for water. Thank you for quiet. Thank you for knowing where to lead me. Thank you for not hurrying my heart. Thank you for refreshing what had become tired inside me. Thank you for being gentle. The shepherd looks over the flock, then toward the path ahead. The traveler knows there will be more of the journey, but not yet for now. This is the gift: still waters, quiet breathing, moonlit peace, and the deep assurance that God restores the soul not with force, but with tenderness. The traveler remains beside the stream until the sound of the water feels like a lullaby. The stars shine above him and within the water below. The sheep rest, the night deepens, his thoughts grow slower and softer. Like leaves drifting upon the surface of a calm stream, and there, beside the quiet waters, the traveler rests in the shepherd's care. His heart no longer needs to wander. His soul no longer needs to thirst. The Lord has led him gently. The Lord has given peace. And the night, held in God's hands, becomes safe enough for sleep. The traveler remains beside the still waters for a long while, letting the quiet stream speak peace into the places where words would be too much. The night has deepened, but the darkness is gentle. Moonlight rests on the water in a silver path, and the stars above seem to shine more clearly with each slow breath. The sheep have gathered close along the bank, some lying down in the grass, some standing quietly with lowered heads. All of them calm under the shepherd's watch. The traveler sits with open hands, feeling the coolness of the water still lingering on his palms. He does not hurry to move. He does not feel the need to speak. He is beginning to understand that sometimes restoration begins in silence. All day his soul had been busy. Even when his body had stopped, his thoughts had continued moving. He had carried concerns from one place to another, replayed small moments, wondered about tomorrow, and measured himself against tasks that were not yet finished. None of these things had seemed very large at first, but together they had made his heart feel crowded and dry. Now, beside the water, in the presence of the shepherd, that crowded place within him is becoming open again. The stream does not scold him for being tired. The grass does not ask him why he needed so long to rest. The shepherd does not stand over him with disappointment. Instead, everything around him seems to say, "Be still. Be cared for. Be restored." The traveler thinks of the ancient promise that the shepherd restores the soul. He lets the words come slowly. Not as a lesson to study, but as a kindness to receive. The soul is a tender thing. It can become weary without making a sound. It can grow heavy while still appearing strong. It can continue walking, serving, answering, and smiling, even when it needs to be led back to peace. The shepherd knows this. He knows when a heart has become tired from trying. He knows when a mind has become tangled with many thoughts. He knows when a person needs more than sleep alone. Sometimes the body needs a bed, but the soul needs the shepherd's gentle presence. The traveler looks down at the stream and watches a small leaf float along the surface. It moves slowly, carried by the water without resistance. For a moment he imagines his own worries like that leaf, held by something gentler and stronger than itself. He does not have to push the river. He does not have to decide its course. He can let what is heavy be carried by God. The thought brings a quiet relief, and he breathes out slowly. A memory rises in him, soft and ordinary. He remembers the morning of the day just past. There had been pale light through the window, a cup of warm tea, and a small piece of bread before the work began. At the time, he had barely noticed them. He had been thinking ahead, already stepping into the needs of the day before receiving the gift of the morning. Now, in the pasture, he sees the moment differently. The bread had been a blessing, the warmth of the cup had been a blessing. The first breath of morning had been a blessing. God had begun caring for him before he had even thought to ask. Another memory comes. A kind word from someone he met along the road. It had been brief, almost forgotten, but now it returns with gentle light around it. Someone had wished him peace. Someone had smiled with patience. Someone had held a door open when his hands were full. At the time, these moments had seemed too small to matter, but now he sees them as quiet traces of the shepherd's care. Restoration often begins when the heart remembers it was never abandoned. Grace had been present in the day, even in the small places. He remembers too. A moment when he had not been as gentle as he wished. A word spoken too quickly, a sigh too sharp, a moment of impatience when someone needed kindness. The memory touches him with sadness, but not with fear. In the presence of the shepherd, even regret becomes softer. It does not rise up like a voice of shame. It becomes an invitation to return. The traveler bows his head slightly and whispers, "Lord, forgive what was unkind in me today. Heal what was tired beneath it." The prayer is small, but it opens the heart. He does not need to hide from the shepherd. Sheep do not become less loved because they stumble. Travelers do not become less guided because they have grown weary. The shepherd is not surprised by human weakness. He is gentle with those who come honestly. His mercy is not fragile. His patience is not thin. The traveler lets this truth settle deep within him. He can be corrected without being condemned, restored without being shamed, and loved even while still growing. The stream continues moving softly. A lamb stirs nearby, then settles again. The shepherd remains still, keeping watch over the flock with quiet care. The traveler studies him in the moonlight. There is strength in the shepherd, but it is not harsh. There is authority, but it is not cold. There is watchfulness, but it is not anxious. His presence is steady enough for every frightened sheep, patient enough for every wandering heart, and kind enough for every soul that needs to begin again. The traveler thinks of how often people try to restore themselves by thinking harder, working longer, or carrying more. They believe that if they can solve every concern, explain every feeling, fix every mistake, and prepare for every possible tomorrow, then perhaps they will finally be at peace. But the soul is not restored by endless striving. It is restored by returning to the shepherd. It is restored when it remembers the voice that calls it by name. It is restored when it lies down in green pastures, drinks beside still waters, receives mercy for the day, and lets tomorrow remain in God's hands. A breeze moves across the stream, and the reflection of the stars trembles for a moment. Then the surface becomes clear again. The traveler watches this and feels comforted. His own heart has been like that water, stirred at times, restless at times, but not beyond calming. Beneath the movement, there is stillness God can bring back. The shepherd does not need a perfect surface before he begins his work. He brings peace to the trembling places. The traveler leans back against a smooth stone and lets his eyes rest on the sky. He begins to remember more blessings from the day, not forcing them, simply allowing them to appear. A patch of sunlight on the road, the sound of birds in the early afternoon, a meal that was enough, a moment of laughter, a task completed, a quiet place to sit, a chance to help someone, a chance to be helped. Each memory is small, but together they become a gentle pattern. His day was not only made of burdens, it was also woven with care. This realization does not erase everything difficult, but it changes the way the traveler holds the day. The hard parts no longer stand alone, they are surrounded by mercy, they are held within a larger kindness. The shepherd had been present not only at dusk, not only in the pasture, not only beside the water, but all through the day's ordinary path. The traveler simply had not noticed every moment while he was walking. He whispers, "Thank you for the blessings I missed." The words feel honest. There are always blessings a tired heart does not see at first. There are mercies too quiet to recognize while the day is loud. There are gifts remembered only later, when the room is still, when the body is resting, when the soul has been brought beside quiet waters. The shepherd does not scold him for missing them, he simply helps him see. And in seeing, the traveler's heart becomes grateful. The restoration is gentle. It does not come like a sudden wind. It comes like water soaking into dry ground. Slowly, quietly, deeply. The traveler feels his thoughts untangle. He feels the tightness in his chest loosen. He feels the need to defend himself grow weaker. He feels the desire to rest become stronger. He is not becoming empty, he is becoming peaceful. He is not losing himself, he is being brought back to the self that can trust, receive, and sleep. The shepherd begins to move again. Only a few steps along the bank, and the flock shifts softly around him. The traveler follows, but the walk is very slow. They are not leaving peace behind, they are carrying it with them. The path beside the water curves through a quiet grove where trees stand tall and still. Their leaves make soft shadows in the moonlight. The air here is cooler, scented with damp earth and green things. The traveler places each step carefully, feeling no rush. The shepherd's pace is restful. It teaches him that guidance does not always feel like movement towards something urgent. Sometimes guidance feels like being led deeper into calm. As they walk, the traveler remembers people he loves. He thinks of those who may be tired tonight, those who may be sitting in quiet rooms, those who may need comfort but not know how to ask for it. For a moment, he feels the old habit of worry rise inside him. He wants to carry them. He wants to make everything well for everyone before he sleeps. But then he looks at the shepherd, and the worry softens. The shepherd who restores his soul is able to care for theirs too. Love can pray. Love can help where it is given the chance. But love does not have to become anxious control. The shepherd is shepherd over every heart. So the traveler prays quietly for them as he walks. Lord, lead the tired ones to rest. Bring the lonely ones near to your comfort. Refresh the ones whose hearts feel dry. Remind them that they are known. He does not name everyone, he does not know every need, but the shepherd does. That is enough. The prayer leaves the traveler's heart gently. Like small lights set afloat on the stream, he releases them into God's care. The path widens near a peaceful hollow between the trees. The grass there is soft, and a little pool of water reflects the moon. The shepherd pauses again, letting the flock settle. The traveler stands quietly, feeling the night around him. He realizes that his soul feels different now, not perfect, not untouched by life, but restored, like a lamp whose flame has been steadied, like a torn cloth mended with patient hands, like a garden watered after a dry afternoon, like a tired child covered with a blanket and told, "You are safe now." He places a hand over his heart and listens to his own breathing. It is slower than before. His thoughts are slower too. The day has become a finished thing, not a burden still demanding to be carried. The mistakes of the day have been brought into mercy. The blessings of the day have been remembered with gratitude. The needs of tomorrow have been given back to the shepherd. This is restoration. Not having everything solved, but being returned to peace. Above him, the stars continue to shine. They do not hurry, they do not strain, they simply remain, bright and quiet in the wide night sky. The traveler thinks of how the shepherd's care is like that, steady even when unseen by busy eyes, present even when the mind is crowded, faithful even when the heart forgets to notice. God's care has not begun only now that the traveler feels peaceful. It was present when he was weary, present when he was distracted, present when he was trying too hard. The shepherd was near before the traveler became aware of him. This thought brings deep comfort. He does not need to create God's nearness by feeling it perfectly. God is near because God is faithful. The traveler can rest in that. The shepherd turns his face toward the flock, and the traveler senses the quiet invitation to settle once more. He sits beneath one of the trees. Where the grass is dry and soft, the stream is still near enough to hear. The sheep gather around, peaceful and safe. The moonlight rests along the path they have walked, making it look gentle and clear behind them. The traveler understands that he has been led, step by step, from weariness to rest, from rest to refreshment, from refreshment to restoration. He whispers, "You have restored my soul." The words are barely spoken, but they are full of gratitude, full of relief, full of trust. The shepherd does not answer with many words. He does not need to. His presence is the answer. The grass beneath the traveler, the water nearby, the quiet flock, the night sky, the softened heart, all of these bear witness to his care. The traveler's eyes grow heavy now. Sleep is not yet complete, but it is near. It approaches gently, like the deepening night, like the soft sound of the stream, like the shepherd's steady watch. He no longer resists it. He no longer feels that he must stay awake to keep himself safe. The shepherd keeps watch. The shepherd restores. The shepherd remains. And so the traveler lets his head rest back. He breathes in the cool night air and breathes out the last tiredness of the day. His heart is quiet now, not because life has become simple, but because God is near within it. The soul that had been weary is being made tender again. The soul that had been crowded is becoming spacious again. The soul that had been dry is drinking again. The stream whispers, the sheep rest, the shepherd watches. And beneath the moonlit trees, the traveler receives the gentle restoration of the Lord. Enough for this night. Enough for this breath. Enough to carry him softly towards sleep. After resting beneath the moonlit trees, the traveler feels the shepherd begin to guide the flock again. The movement is gentle, almost like the turning of a page. No one is hurried. The sheep rise slowly from the grass, one after another, and gather near the shepherd's feet. The lambs stay close to their mothers. The older sheep follow with quiet trust. The stream remains nearby for a while, whispering softly beside the path. But soon the way begins to bend away from the water and toward a lower place between the hills. The traveler stands and follows. His heart is calmer now than when the evening began. The green pasture has softened his weariness. The still waters have quieted his thoughts. The shepherd's nearness has restored something tender within him. Yet as the path descends, the light changes. The moon is still above, but the hills rise on either side, and their shadows stretch gently across the ground. The air becomes cooler, the grass grows darker, the path narrows, not dangerously, but enough that each step invites attention. The traveler knows this kind of place. Every life has valleys. Some are made of uncertainty, some are made of waiting, some are made of quiet thoughts that come at night. Some are only the deep stillness that appears when the day has ended and there is nothing left to distract the heart. This valley is not filled with terror. It is not a place of panic or harm. It is simply shadowed, quiet, and unfamiliar. The kind of place where a weary soul might wonder whether it is still being led. But the shepherd is still there. That is the first comfort. The traveler looks ahead and sees the shepherd walking at the front of the flock, steady and unafraid. He does not move anxiously. He does not turn back in worry. He knows the path through the valley. His staff is in his hand. His steps are sure. The sheep do not need to understand the whole way. They only need to stay near. The traveler takes a slow breath and listens. The sounds of the valley are soft. A night bird calls once from a far tree, then grows silent. The breeze moves lightly along the hillside. The sheep walk together, their steps muted in the grass. The shepherd's staff touches the ground now and then with a quiet, comforting rhythm. Tap, step, tap, step. It is a small sound, but it gives the traveler peace. It reminds him that he is not walking alone. The words come gently to his heart. Even though I walk through the valley, I will not fear, for you are with me. He does not repeat them quickly. He lets them move slowly through him, one phrase at a time. Even though I walk. This means the valley is not a place where he must remain forever. It is something he is passing through. Through is a gentle word. It means the shepherd is leading onward. It means the shadowed place has a path. It means the night does not have the final word. The traveler looks around. The valley walls are not harsh. They are covered with grass, small shrubs, and quiet stones that glow faintly where the moon touches them. A few flowers grow even here, pale and closed for the night. Their presence surprises him. He had expected the valley to hold only shadow, but even in the lower places, there are signs of life. The shepherd's care reaches here too. The flock moves slowly. One lamb hesitates near a darker patch of ground, and the shepherd turns at once. He does not scold for little one, he simply steps near, and the lamb, seeing him close, moves forward again. The traveler watches this and feels something inside him loosen. How kind the shepherd is with hesitation, how patient he is with small steps. He does not shame the frightened, he does not abandon the slow, he draws near. The traveler realizes that he too has hesitated many times, not only on roads, but in his heart. He has hesitated to rest, hesitated to trust, hesitated to believe that God's peace could reach the places where his thoughts felt dim. But the shepherd has not been impatient with him. He has led him from pasture to water, from water to restoration, and now into the valley with the same steady care. The path continues downward for a little while, then becomes level. The air is very still here. The traveler can no longer hear the stream clearly, only a faint memory of it behind him. For a moment, he misses its sound. He misses the open pasture. He misses the wide sky above the hill. But then the shepherd's staff touches the ground again, and the traveler remembers. Comfort does not depend on hearing the stream. Peace does not depend on standing in the brightest place. The shepherd himself is the comfort. He is with me. The traveler lets that truth become enough. He does not need to feel brave in a loud way. He does not need to pretend the valley is as bright as the pasture. He only needs to know that the shepherd is near. Sometimes peace is not the removal of every shadow. Sometimes peace is the quiet presence of God walking with us through the shadow. Step by step, until the heart learns it can keep going without fear. The traveler places one hand over his chest and breathes slowly. In the cool air of the valley, his breath feels steady. He remembers the burdens he set down in the grass, the water that refreshed his hands, the prayer that opened his heart to forgiveness and gratitude. Those gifts are still with him. The shepherd did not give him rest only for the pasture. He gave him rest to carry into the valley. The green places and the still waters have prepared him for this darker path. Not by making him strong in himself, but by teaching him to stay close. A sheep near the edge of the flock wanders slightly toward a cluster of stones. The shepherd gently guides it back with his staff. The movement is calm and practiced. The sheep returns to the group and the flock continues. The traveler watches the staff for a long moment. It is not there to frighten the sheep. It is there to guide, protect, and draw them near. The shepherd's correction is part of his kindness. His guidance is part of his love. The traveler thinks of the ways God has guided him through the day. A gentle reminder to speak softly. A quiet pause before answering. A feeling in the heart to choose patience instead of anger. A small invitation to pray rather than worry. He has not always followed perfectly, but the shepherd has continued to lead. The staff and the voice have been there, guiding him back to the path again and again. The valley begins to open slightly. The traveler can see a line of moonlight ahead where the hills part. It is still some distance away, but it is visible. The sight comforts him. He had not known where the path would lead when they first entered the shadows, but the shepherd had known. The shepherd always knew. The traveler whispers, "You are with me." The words are simple, but they steady him. The sheep continue walking. Their wool catches small touches of moonlight. Their bodies move together like a quiet cloud along the path. The lambs are calmer now. The traveler is calmer too. He begins to notice the valley's own beauty. The cool air is refreshing, the stones shine softly, the shadows make the moonlight seem more precious. A low fragrance rises from the grass, damp and clean. The night is not empty, it is filled with the shepherd's presence. He realizes that some parts of life can only be known in the valley. The comfort of being accompanied, the tenderness of a guiding staff, the strength of a voice that does not leave, the deep peace that comes when a person discovers they do not need to see far ahead in order to be safe. These are not lessons learned by rushing, they are learned slowly, while walking close. The traveler thinks of people lying awake in their rooms. Some may feel as though their thoughts are passing through a little valley of their own. Not a frightening valley, but a quiet place of uncertainty, tiredness, or loneliness. He wishes they could know what he is learning now. The shepherd is not only present in bright fields, he is present in the dim room, the late hour, the unanswered question, the tired breath before sleep. His nearness does not fade when the light is low. The path turns gently round a bend, and the valley grows wider. The flock spreads slightly, but not too far. The shepherd pauses to let the slowest sheep catch up. This touches the traveler deeply. The shepherd does not measure the flock by the fastest. He cares for the slowest too. He keeps the pace of mercy. He knows that tired souls need gentleness, not pressure. The traveler's own pace slows, and he feels no shame in it. He is tired, but peacefully tired, the kind of tiredness that can finally become sleep. His thoughts are no longer racing, they move quietly, like the flock ahead of him. He thinks again of the phrase, "I will not fear." He understands now that this does not mean he must never feel small, it means fear does not have to lead him. The shepherd leads him. Fear may whisper from the edge of the path, but the shepherd's voice is nearer, kinder, and stronger. The moonlight ahead grows clearer. The valley is not finished yet, but the traveler can sense that the deepest shadow is behind him. He turns once and looks back. The path they have traveled lies quiet under the night sky. It does not look as dark from here as it did when he first entered. Perhaps this is how many valleys appear after the shepherd has led us through them. Still real, still quiet, but no longer overwhelming. The presence of God changes how the heart remembers the road. The shepherd continues, and the traveler follows. There is a peaceful rhythm now. Step, breath, staff, silence. Step, breath, staff, peace. The traveler lets the rhythm carry him. He no longer needs many thoughts. He no longer needs many words. His prayer becomes very small. Stay near, Lord. And even before the prayer is finished, he knows the answer. The shepherd is near. At last, the flock reaches the place where the valley opens into a wider meadow beneath the moon. The sky appears broad again, filled with stars. The air feels open and fresh. The traveler pauses at the edge and breathes deeply. He has not walked out of the night entirely. The stars are still above him, and sleep is still near. But he has come through the shadowed place with the shepherd at his side. His heart is quieter because of it. The sheep begin to settle again, gathering in the moonlit grass. The shepherd stands watch, his form calm against the open sky. The traveler looks at him with gratitude that is too deep for many words. He had been led through the valley safely, not because he understood the path, not because he had no weakness, not because the valley disappeared, but because the shepherd was with him. He lowers himself onto the grass and lets the peace of the meadow receive him. The path behind him is quiet. The path ahead can wait. For now, there is only the present moment. Moonlight, breath, resting sheep, and the faithful shepherd. The traveler whispers one final time, "You are with me." Then he closes his eyes. The valley has not taken his peace. The shadows have not led him away. The shepherd has guided him through. And now, beneath the wide and gentle sky, the traveler rests more deeply, knowing that even in the quietest valley, even in the dimmest hour, even when the road is not fully seen, the Lord is near enough to guide, near enough to comfort, and near enough to bring his beloved safely toward rest. After the valley opens into the wide meadow, the traveler rests for a while beneath the gentle sky. The sheep settle around him in the moonlit grass, quiet and safe after the narrow path. The shepherd remains near, calm and watchful, his presence steady as the stars above. The traveler feels the cool night air on his face and the softness of the ground beneath him, and he understands that he has been led through another part of the journey. He has not walked alone. He has not been forgotten in the shadows. The same shepherd who led him to green pastures, the same shepherd who brought him beside still waters, the same shepherd who restored his soul, has also brought him safely through the valley. For a long moment, the traveler says nothing. His heart is too peaceful for many words. He simply breathes. In the distance, the hills stand quiet under the moon. The stream can no longer be heard clearly, but the memory of its calm sound remains inside him. The grass moves softly in the night breeze. The sheep sleep close together, their breathing slow and gentle. Everything around him seems to whisper that the shepherd's care has not ended. It has only taken another shape. Then, slowly, the traveler notices a warm light ahead. At first, it is only a small glow beyond the meadow, golden and quiet, shining from a little house near the edge of the fields. The house is simple, with a low roof, a wooden door, and one window lit from within. There is no noise coming from it, no hurry, no bright celebration, only the soft welcome of lamplight in the night. The shepherd begins walking toward it, and the traveler follows, the sheep moving calmly behind. As they draw near, the traveler sees that the little house stands beside a garden. The garden is resting now, its herbs silvered by moonlight, its flowers closed for sleep, its narrow path damp with evening dew. A wooden fence surrounds it, and near the gate a few white blossoms lean gently in the breeze. The window glows with warm light, and through it the traveler can see a table prepared inside. There is bread on the table, a cup, a bowl of simple food, a small lamp, and a folded cloth. Nothing is grand. Nothing is rich in the way the world measures richness. And yet the room seems full. The shepherd leads him to the door, and without fear or hesitation, the traveler enters. Inside, the little home is warm and peaceful. The air smells of bread, tea, herbs, and a small fire burning low in the hearth. The wooden floor is clean, a chair waits beside the table, a simple cross hangs on the wall, touched by lamplight, a Bible rests nearby, worn at the edges from many quiet readings. The traveler stands in the doorway for a moment, feeling the deep comfort of the room. After the open pasture, the still water, and the shadowed valley, this home feels like another kind of blessing. Shelter, welcome, provision, and rest. The shepherd has prepared a table. The traveler looks at the bread first. It is warm, wrapped loosely in a clean cloth, its crust golden, its scent gentle and familiar. Beside it is a bowl of soup, simple and nourishing, with steam rising slowly into the lamplight. There is a cup of cool water, clear and still. There is a small dish of honey. There is a candle burning with a quiet flame. The table is not crowded, but it lacks nothing that is needed for the hour. The traveler sits slowly in the chair, and as he does, he feels a tenderness rise in his heart. He had expected only a place to escape the night, perhaps a corner to rest in, perhaps enough shelter to wait until morning. But here is a table. Here is care made visible. Here is food for hunger, water for thirst, light for darkness, warmth for the body, and peace for the soul. The shepherd's goodness has become bread and cup, lamp and fire, home and rest. He thinks of the words, "You prepare a table before me." He lets them settle slowly. A table is more than food. A table is welcome. A table says, "You may sit here. You may stop standing at the door. You may be received. You may eat without rushing. You may rest without proving that you deserve it." The traveler feels this truth gently. The shepherd does not merely lead him past danger. The shepherd brings him into fellowship, into provision, into peace. The traveler reaches for the bread and breaks a small piece. It is soft inside, warm enough to comfort his hands. He eats slowly. The taste is simple, but deeply good. It reminds him of morning meals, of quiet homes, of hands that prepare food with love, of prayers spoken before eating, of ordinary blessings that keep the body strong and the heart humble. He takes a spoonful of soup, and warmth moves through him. His body, which had walked far, receives what it needs. As he eats, the traveler begins to remember the tables of his own life. A kitchen table in childhood where someone cut bread into small pieces. A meal shared after a long day of work. A cup of tea placed before him when he was tired. A bowl of soup received in silence when words were not necessary. A simple supper eaten slowly while rain touched the window. These memories come without pain. They come like small lamps being lit in the heart. Each one says, "You have been cared for more often than you realized." The traveler lowers his spoon and looks around the little room. The lamp burns steadily. The fire glows low. The shadows are soft. The window shows the moonlit garden outside, still and safe. The sheep have gathered near the house, resting in the quiet pasture beyond the fence. The shepherd stands near the doorway, not distant, not hurried, as if the whole night belongs to his patient care. The traveler feels gratitude deepen within him. He sees that the shepherd's blessings are not always dramatic. Sometimes they are a green pasture, sometimes still water, sometimes a restored heart, sometimes courage in a valley, and sometimes a quiet table in a humble home with bread enough for the night and peace enough for the heart. He thinks of how often he has overlooked such tables, how often he has eaten while thinking of something else, how often he has received water, warmth, shelter, and kindness without pausing to notice the shepherd's hand beneath them. Tonight, in the stillness, he sees more clearly. A table does not need to be large to be holy with gratitude. A meal does not need to be rich to be full of grace. A home does not need to impress the world in order to be filled with God's peace. The traveler folds his hands for a moment and whispers, "Thank you, Lord, for this table." The words are simple, but they open a quiet door inside him. He begins to name the blessings one by one, not quickly, but slowly, as though placing each one gently before God. Thank you for bread. Thank you for water. Thank you for warmth. Thank you for the path that led me here. Thank you for the pasture where I rested. Thank you for the stream that quieted me. Thank you for restoring my soul. Thank you for staying near in the valley. Thank you for this lamp, this shelter, this quiet hour. Thank you for enough. The word enough stays with him. Enough. Enough for this meal. Enough for this night. Enough grace for the day that has passed. Enough mercy for what was imperfect. Enough peace for sleep. He realizes that much of his weariness came from fearing that there would not be enough. Not enough time, not enough strength, not enough answers, not enough patience, not enough peace. But the shepherd has been teaching him slowly. The Lord is his shepherd, he shall not want. This does not mean he always receives everything he imagines. It means he is held by the one who knows what he truly needs. And tonight, what he needs is here. The traveler takes the cup of water and drinks. The water is cool and refreshing. Like the stream beside the quiet path, the cup rests in his hands, small and plain. He notices the weight of it, the smoothness of its side, the light reflected on its surface. Even this cup becomes a blessing when received with attention. Even this sip becomes a prayer. Outside, The wind moves softly through the garden. The white blossoms near the gate bend and rise again. The traveler watches them through the window. He thinks of all the little homes scattered beyond the hills, homes where people are preparing for sleep. Some rooms are filled with family voices. Some rooms are very quiet. Some tables are full, some simple. Some hearts are light, some tired. But the shepherd's care can enter every room. His peace can rest beside every bed. His goodness can follow every weary soul into the night. The traveler imagines someone sitting alone at a small table, holding a cup of tea with both hands. Someone listening to rain against the window. Someone tucking a child beneath a blanket. Someone washing the last dish after a long day. Someone whispering a prayer too small for anyone else to hear. He feels tenderness for them, but not worry. The shepherd knows them too. The same God who prepared this table in the quiet home is able to provide peace for every heart that turns toward him. The traveler continues eating slowly. He does not rush through the meal, there is no need. The night is not chasing him, the shepherd is not pressing him onward. Rest is allowed to be slow. Gratitude is allowed to be slow, healing is allowed to be slow. The soul often receives peace not in one sudden moment, but in gentle layers. First a breath, then a quiet thought, then a remembered mercy, then a sense of being safe, then the soft surrender that says, I can sleep now. A small bowl of oil sits near the lamp, and beside it is a cloth folded neatly. The traveler notices it only after the meal has warmed him. The shepherd comes near, and the traveler understands the tenderness of the moment. Oil for the head, refreshment, honor, care. Not the hurried care of someone trying to finish a task, but the patient care of a shepherd who knows how to soothe what the road has dried, what the sun has worn, what the valley has chilled. The traveler bows his head slightly, and the shepherd's care rests upon him like a blessing. It is gentle, so gentle that the traveler's eyes grow tender. The shepherd does not treat him like a burden. He does not treat him like a problem to be fixed quickly. He treats him as one who is loved. The traveler realizes that receiving care can be its own act of trust. It is not always easy to let oneself be tended. Sometimes people are more comfortable serving than receiving. That is, working than resting, giving than allowing themselves to be loved. But tonight, the shepherd teaches him another quiet lesson. Let me care for you. The traveler breathes in slowly. He receives. He does not explain why he is tired. He does not apologize for needing rest. He does not promise to do better before accepting peace. He simply receives the shepherd's kindness. The table before him seems fuller now, though the food has not changed. The bread, the cup, the lamp, the oil, the fire, the little room, the garden beyond the window, all of it overflows with meaning. His cup is not empty. His heart is not abandoned. His night is not without comfort. The shepherd has not only given enough, he has given more than the traveler knew how to ask for. His cup overflows, not with noise, not with excess, but with quiet grace. The traveler leans back in the chair, and the tiredness in him becomes peaceful. He is no longer weary in the same way. He is ready for rest now, ready not because every road has been walked, but because this part of the journey has been received. Ready because the shepherd has led him, fed him, comforted him, and stayed with him. Ready because gratitude has softened the heart. The lamp burns low, and the little home grows even quieter. The fire settles into embers. Outside, the sheep sleep near the garden fence. The moonlight rests on their wool like a soft covering. The traveler looks at the table one final time and lets the blessing of it enter deeply. There is bread for the body. There is peace for the mind. There is mercy for the mistakes of the day. There is guidance for the path ahead. There is a shepherd who prepares, provides, restores, comforts, and remains. The traveler whispers, My cup overflows. He does not say it loudly, he barely says it at all. But the words are true. Not because life is perfect, not because there are no valleys, not because tomorrow holds no questions. His cup overflows because God is near, because goodness has met him in simple things, because mercy has covered him more gently than he deserved, and because the shepherd's love has followed him all the way into this quiet home. He closes his eyes for a moment and listens. The fire breathes softly. The wind touches the garden. The sheep rest outside. The shepherd remains. The table is prepared. And in the warm stillness of the little house, the traveler feels the deep comfort of being welcomed, nourished, and held by God. The night is safe. The heart is full. The shepherd has provided, and peace settles over the table like a blessing before sleep. The little home grows quieter as the night settles more deeply around it. The table has been prepared. The bread has been received. The cup has been lifted, and the traveler's heart has become still in the gentle care of the shepherd. Outside the window, the sheep sleep safely in the other garden fence, their bodies resting close together beneath the soft silver light of the moon. The hills beyond the meadow are dark and peaceful, no longer asking to be crossed tonight. The valley behind him is quiet. The stream beyond the path continues its low and distant song. The green pasture rests under the stars, and inside the warm room, the traveler sits for a little while longer, letting the kindness of the Lord settle over him like a blanket. The lamp on the table burns low now, its golden flame small and steady. The fire in the hearth has softened into glowing embers. The bowl is empty, the bread is covered, and the cup rests beside his hands. Nothing more needs to be taken, nothing more needs to be proven. The shepherd has given enough, more than enough for the hour. The traveler feels the deep comfort of that truth. He has been led, fed, restored, comforted, and welcomed. The day did not end in loneliness. It did not end with the heart wandering in the dark. It ended here, in a quiet place prepared by love. He thinks of goodness and mercy, not as distant ideas, but as gentle companions that have followed him all day without making noise. Goodness was in the first light of morning. Mercy was in the forgiveness of small mistakes. Goodness was in the pasture where he was allowed to lie down. Mercy was in the still waters that quieted his restless thoughts. Goodness was in the shepherd's presence through the valley. Mercy was in the table prepared for him when he was hungry and tired. He had not noticed all of it while the day was happening. But now, in the stillness, he can see that he has never been outside the shepherd's care. The traveler lowers his head. Sleep is near, but before he sleeps, he wants to give the night back to God. Not with many complicated words, not with a prayer that tries to hold every detail perfectly, only with a soft and trusting heart. He folds his hands near the cup, breathes slowly, and begins to pray. Lord, my shepherd, thank you for leading me through this day. Thank you for knowing the way when I did not know it. Thank you for seeing my tiredness without turning away. Thank you for bringing me to green pastures, for teaching my heart to lie down, and for reminding me that rest is a gift from you. The room remains still. The prayer seems to rest gently among the lamplight, the embers, and the quiet shadows. Thank you for the still waters. Thank you for every peaceful place you gave me today, even the ones I almost missed. Thank you for the breath that slowed, the worry that softened, the kindness I received, and the mercy that covered what was imperfect. Restore what is weary in me tonight. Quiet what is restless. Refresh what has grown dry. Let my soul rest in your care. The traveler pauses. Outside, a sheep shifts softly in the grass, then settles again. The shepherd remains near the doorway, calm and watchful. Lord, thank you for walking with me through the valley. Thank you that I did not have to pass through the shadow alone. When the path felt narrow, you were near. When I could not see far ahead, you knew the way. When fear tried to whisper, your presence was closer. Help me remember tonight that darkness is not dark to you, and that every room, every road, every quiet heart is still within your loving sight. His voice becomes softer, slower. Thank you for this table of blessings. Thank you for bread enough, water enough, warmth enough, and peace enough. Thank you for simple gifts that carry your love. A meal, a lamp, a safe place, a kind word, a soft place to rest. Teach me to receive with gratitude. Teach me to share with gentleness. Teach me to see your goodness in ordinary things. The traveler breathes in deeply, then lets the breath go. And now, Lord, I give you tomorrow. I give you the work that waits, the questions I cannot answer, the people I love, the needs I cannot meet, and the paths I cannot yet see. I place them in your hands. I do not need to hold them through the night. You are awake, you are faithful, you are kind. Let my heart sleep in the peace of knowing that you remain. The prayer grows quiet, almost like a whisper inside the heart. Let goodness and mercy follow me into sleep. Let your love cover this night. Let every breath become calm. Let every thought become gentle. Let this body rest. Let this soul be still. And when morning comes, lead me again, one step at a time, in your peace. The traveler remains bowed for a moment after the words are finished. Then he whispers, Amen. A deep calm fills the little room. It is not dramatic. It does not arrive like thunder or flame. It arrives like moonlight on a sleeping field, like water moving quietly over stones, like a shepherd standing watch while the flock rests. The traveler lifts his head and feels the prayer still within him, not as something he must keep repeating, but as something now placed safely in God's hands. He rises from the table slowly. The chair makes a soft sound against the wooden floor. He looks once more at the bread, the cup, the lamp, and the hearth. Then he walks to the window and gazes out over the sleeping meadow. The sheep are still, the garden is still, the hills are still. The valley no longer feels like a place of fear, only a path through which the shepherd has already led him. The stars shine with quiet patience above everything. The traveler understands that to dwell in God's peace is not only to arrive at a place, it is to rest in a presence. The shepherd's presence, the one who leads in the morning, guides in the afternoon, comforts in the valley, welcomes at the table, and remains through the night. This peace is not fragile. It does not vanish when the lamp is lowered. It does not leave when the eyes close. It stays, because the shepherd stays. At last, the traveler lies down in the quiet room. The bed is simple, but soft. The blanket is warm. The air is cool and clean after the long evening journey. He closes his eyes and lets his breathing slow. The prayer has finished. The table has been blessed. The path has been entrusted to God, and the shepherd is near. Outside, the sheep sleep safely. The stream whispers in the distance. The moon rests over the hills. The little home glows softly in the night. And the traveler's heart, once weary and restless, now rests in the gentle truth of Psalm 23. He is cared for, he is guided, he is not alone, and he may dwell in the peace of the Lord. For tonight, that is enough. Enough for the body, enough for the soul, enough for sleep, enough until morning.